ability.
15 years ago, I was honored to accept President Bill Clinton's invitation to the White House ceremony when he announced the normalization of relations. I said on that day that this would have been an extremely difficult decision for any U.S. president, and that President Clinton showed courage and honor in his resolve to do so. I meant every word of it then, and I stand by every word of it today. Thank you, President Clinton, for your courage and the results of it. Senator John Kerry was an essential partner in this effort, an essential individual. And because of his patient leadership, and I emphasize patient leadership, hours and hours and hours of hearings, of examination of documents, of meetings, of trips back and forth to Vietnam. Under his patient leadership, the United States made considerable progress in determining the fates of our missing servicemen. No nation in history has ever done more to account for its missing. And while more remains to be done, we can be proud of the commitment made so far and proud of the work that Senator John Kerry and many others have done to keep faith with those who kept faith with us. Thank you, John. Could I also say that if you had told me in 1995, to say nothing of 1975, that after 15 years of official ties, that relations between our nations would not just be normal, but strong, deep, growing, and good indeed, that Vietnam would be one of America's most important and most promising emerging partners in the Asia-Pacific region, well, it just goes to show that if you live long enough, anything is possible. So the normalization of our relationship is a tribute to the profound strength and magnanimity of the Vietnamese people. It is a testament to the fundamental decency and confidence of the American public. It's a credit to the practicality and forbearance of leaders in both our governments. In short, it is a story of countless individuals, both Vietnamese and Americans, coming to terms with a painful past, refusing to look back in anger, and doing what is right for their countries. This is a deeply personal process, and it's been difficult for all of us. On one Christmas night in 1970, on Christmas Eve, I spent as a prisoner of war. It was a cold night in Hanoi, and a man we called the Cat, who was the commander of the prison, came to my cell. He wore a dapper suit, and I had the most unusual conversation I had in all of the years that I spent. He said his father was a friend of Ho Chi Minh, that he had fought with the Viet Minh against the French. And he also, in the course of our conversation, told us of an island that Ho Chi Minh had a villa in Ha Long Bay. As many of you know, Ha Long Bay is a breathtaking place. And that exchange captured my imagination. You fast forward to many years later, and a man I got to know and admire enormously, and as John will testify, Nguyen Co Thach, who was the vice foreign minister of Vietnam at that time, came to Washington. And I met with him and we went to lunch together in the Senate dining room, and I had an upcoming trip to Vietnam. He said, "What would you like to do?" And I said, "I would like to go to Ho Chi Minh's island." He was taken aback. He said, "No one knows about that." I said, "I know about it." To make a long story short, one night, a warm breeze carried off the water and blew through the open windows as I drifted off to sleep in the villa where Ho Chi Minh once found rest. I knew I would not likely get greater recompense than this for the many nights that I had spent in far less comfortable circumstances in Vietnam. Nothing more would be gained from revisiting the past. Better to enjoy the evening and come morning, begin the more promising pursuit of building a better relationship between our two countries. My friends, it's my hope that this relationship continues. Our bilateral trade is 30 times greater today than it was 15 years ago. We've created thousands and thousands of jobs to the benefit of both our peoples, and I'm confident that this is only the beginning.
You've been watching the State Department celebration of the 15th anniversary of the normalization of relations between the U.S. and Vietnam.